Okay, so let's dive into today's topic.
Um,
And we're looking at how even simple dietary changes can impact blood pressure, especially, I think, for anyone over 40. It's something that we all think about.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm not quite there yet, but it's, something that I hear about a lot,
Yeah.
even just from my parents and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it can feel really overwhelming. But what we wanted to do with this deep dive is look at some real stories from all over the world about how people have made surprisingly simple changes to their diet and gotten some really good results.
Right.
So we're going to try to pull out like the practical stuff, the things that you can actually implement.
Exactly. And I think it's really helpful to see that it doesn't have to be this huge, overwhelming thing. Like, you don't have to completely change your life.
Right. It's more about,
Yeah, just little adjustments.
yeah, manageable tweaks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's start off with Maria in Europe. Her story was really interesting because she was someone who relied a lot on convenience foods,
Mhm.
so pre-made sauces, ready meals, that kind of thing.
Yeah. A lot of us can relate to that for sure,
Totally.
especially when you're busy.
Yeah.
But-
What happened when she changed that?
Well, the interesting thing is she started cooking more from scratch
Okay.
and focusing on using fresh herbs and spices instead of those pre-made sauces that are often packed with salt.
Ah.
And I think this is where it gets really fascinating because high sodium intake can actually cause your body to retain fluid,
Really?
which increases your blood volume, and that puts more pressure on your blood vessels.
Wow. So it's directly.
Yeah, it's a pretty direct link.
Wow.
And so for Maria, just taking control in the kitchen actually helped her see some improvements in her blood pressure.
Interesting.
And she didn't have to sacrifice flavor either.
Oh, that's great.
Right.
So it really highlights how much sodium is hidden in those convenient foods.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's something to be mindful of for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's move on to Ken from North America. His story is quite different. He was more of a meat and potatoes kind of guy.
Right. Classic. But his kids actually encouraged him to make a change.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, so he started adding just one serving of vegetables to his dinner every day.
Okay.
And it seems like such a small thing,
Yeah.
but it actually made a difference.
Hmm.
He said he just felt better overall, and then when he went for his checkups, things were looking more encouraging.
Wow.
And when we think about the bigger picture here, it's important to remember that vegetables are packed with potassium.
Right.
And potassium is a key nutrient that helps balance sodium levels in the body.
So it's not just adding bulk. It's actually like,
Yeah, it's actually working to counteract the effects of that sodium.
wow, that's so interesting.
Right, so it's all connected.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's go to a completely different part of the world. Aisha in the Middle East. Her story's all about those delicious traditional sweets that are so popular there.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have a huge sweet tooth, so I can relate.
Me too, me too.
But for Aisha, it wasn't about giving them up completely. It was more about moderation, right? And I think that's such an important message
Yeah.
because sugary foods can contribute to weight gain, and that can definitely impact blood pressure.
Mm.
But what's really interesting is that she also focused on increasing her water intake,
Oh.
and staying well hydrated is actually crucial for your circulatory system.
Really?
Yeah, it helps everything function more efficiently.
I would never have thought of that.
Right. It's not always just about what we're cutting out. It's also about what we're consciously including.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Okay, so last but not least, we have David in South America, and he had a bit of a weakness for processed snacks between meals.
Yeah, I think we've all been there.
Definitely.
But his swap was actually incredibly simple.
Okay, I'm curious. Tell me, what did he do?
Instead of reaching for chips or cookies, he started grabbing fruit or a handful of nuts.
Oh, okay.
And this really highlights the difference between those nutrient-poor processed snacks that are often loaded with salt or sugar
Yeah.
versus whole foods.
Mm-hmm.
Fruits and nuts, they provide sustained energy. They're packed with essential nutrients,
Mm.
and you're not getting that quick spike and crash that you get from those processed options.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And even these small shifts in your daily habits, they can really add up over time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've looked at all these different stories. They're all very unique, but is there like a common thread that ties them together?
Definitely. And I think the most striking thing is that they all highlight the power of small, consistent changes.
Okay.
None of these individuals did anything drastic. They didn't overhaul their entire lives.
Yeah.
They simply made these mindful adjustments to their regular eating patterns.
Yeah, and they focused on whole, less processed foods.
Exactly.
It just goes to show that managing blood pressure through diet, it doesn't have to be this big, scary thing.
Right. It's about those manageable tweaks that add up over time.
Exactly. So I guess the final thought for everyone listening is just to consider your own daily food choices.
Yeah, and maybe think about what's one small sustainable adjustment you could make this week.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything crazy.
Right, just one small step towards better well-being.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
Bye.